Stable coins, yeah, that's where my bag at. All I really need is Wi-Fi. Get money on DeFi, mega cash on M.I.M.S. You better run when the runners run. Show you how to get your money up. Dollar inflated like bubble gum. Markets are jumping like double dutch. Buying up gold till I get a ton. Crypto, yeah, I got some. You better run when the runners run. You better run when the runners run.
All right, welcome in everyone. It's Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. We got a new president, a new regime. Crypto is popping. Ross Ulbricht is free. What a time to be alive, M.I.M.S. What's going on, brother? I'm excited. Everything is happening right now.
Yeah, man, the flip the switch moment is taking place right before our eyes. We're witnessing it in real time. The largest, greatest wealth transfer ever in history. This is the reset. You don't want to miss it. You want to be in position. You want to stay updated. You want to acquire the right assets. You know what time it is. You're running with the runners. You know that's what we do. We're going to make it make sense. We're going to put you in position, and we're going to get wealthy together, man. So I'm fired up and excited about this Zoom tonight, brother, because we're going to be capitalizing on a quadrillion-dollar market here, plus. And we're going to show people how to really take advantage and get a nice little slither of that by owning some software. So I'm pumped for tonight's presentation, brother.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I had to look up a quadrillion. I hadn't dreamed that big before of being in a space where there's a quadrillion-dollar acquisition that can happen. So in order to dream that big, we had to reach out to one of our good friends, mentors in this space. So we had to bring on the one, the only, Travis Flaherty down from Arizona, who we just got to see last week in California. My man, congratulations again on the Ohio State Buckeyes national championship. I got to give you some props there as a Michigan man myself.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. It is always great to be on the runners. Two of my favorite peeps right here. Had a great time with you guys in California, and just super excited to spend more time with you, because I think we got a lot more fun trips coming up.
Oh, so yeah.
I'm looking
It's always a party when we get together. You know that.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
We are just getting started, guys. Before we get into that tonight, though, things are moving so quickly right now. It's crazy, right? So literally today, breaking, SEC launches a new task force to create a clear regulatory framework for crypto assets. Massive crypto adoption incoming. And this is something that has been needed in this space forever. Along with that, we're going to also touch on, which a lot of people still don't know about, what is an RWA? An RWA is simply a real world asset that can then be tokenized into the blockchain. So right now, only $200 billion worth of assets that can be brought onto the blockchain have been. That leaves us 1.64 quadrillion assets to bring onto the blockchain. So Travis, that's why you're here. We got to dream bigger. This opportunity to take part in the tokenization of assets, what gets you the most excited when you looked at what we are able to do here with, of course, the regulation, the transparency, the auditing? That's what gets me excited. And, you are, again, leading the pack here and really bringing this to the masses.
Well, first of all, hallelujah that we have actual framework that's coming, right? Yes. I think everybody should be just shouting, clapping, and just high-fiving if you're a crypto enthusiast, because that's really what's been lacking over the last few years. And that's really put businesses that wanted to tokenize at risk, and the investors that wanted to participate in those businesses at risk, because it's left them in a vulnerable position. They had to guess what was the right pathway forward. And so, that's the whole purpose behind the project that we've just introduced, is providing a universal framework that is accepted not just here in the United States, but around the world. And as you learn more about the process that we're doing, the integration of the Reg A and Reg D filings, what that is doing is it's creating a safe passage forward for businesses to now tokenize that leads to trust and transparency. And I think that's what I'm most excited about. You know, you look at the adoption rate in crypto just over the last year. I mean, what has it gone from 1.9 trillion to almost 4 trillion in the last 12 months?
Yep.
And you know, the crypto bros, we've all been here. Like the crypto enthusiasts, they're already here. So who are the new people coming in? It's new money. It's institutional money, right? We're seeing a slow movement towards adoption, and that to me is most exciting. And so I think that the words that come to mind is there's never been a time such as this. There's never been a better time for a company like Trusted Smart Chain to come forward and say, hey, we're going to provide that universal framework. We're going to lead with trust and transparency. And all of you guys that are moving in this direction, this new paradigm shift of tokenization of real world assets, we're leading the charge right here. And that to me is what I'm most excited about, is continuing. You've heard me say this before, but continuing to move the industry from hype and speculation to tangibility and substance.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it's all about. So M.I.M.S, I know you're staying on top of everything that's going on. You know, what got you excited today in the news, and, you know, make it make sense about how people cannot miss this RWA play that's worth over $2 quadrillion.
Yeah, I mean, folks, look, largest wealth transfer in history. You know, we talk about this all the time, and when we're looking at the regulations, you know, when we're looking at the clarity, when we're looking at, you know, a crypto-friendly government, when we're looking at, you know, international rules and standard, all about tokenization, all about blockchain. When we realize the opportunity, the wealth transfer, the decentralization of wealth that's taking place, and the opportunity and the access that everybody has to it now, it's just a phenomenal time. What a time to be alive. What a time to be documenting it. But the clarity that we're having now, you know, with this government and with regulations, should get everybody excited. People should be rushing to take advantage of opportunities, especially American blockchain companies like what we're part of, what we're sharing with you now. That narrative, okay, is huge right now. RWAs is huge right now. And I mean, it's just something that, you know, should pique everybody's interest to do a little more due diligence, you know, take advantage. There is trillions and quadrillions of dollars that are sitting on the sideline that are ready to come into the blockchain, that are ready to be tokenized. And this is an opportunity, like I always say, to make sure that a wealthy family comes from you if you didn't come from a wealthy family. But you first got to follow the right people, you know, consume the right information and acquire the right assets. And this is what we've been doing. This is what we're going to continue to do. And this is why we're presenting to you now this phenomenal opportunity that's dealing with RWAs, tokenized securities, and how you can put yourself in position to get rewarded daily for it. So it's huge. What a phenomenal time, man. I'm excited.
And Travis, it was great to see you and Summer out in California a few weeks ago. And when we went out there to the TSC headquarters, we had a lot of questions. We needed to get answers. We needed to fully understand how this all works. And one of the most enlightening things I found out that I did not know is the struggles and difficulties and, you know, barriers to entry of companies going public. So when a company goes public onto the stock market, they're basically kind of giving up their company. They're giving up a lot of power. And, you know, we kind of talked about what happened with GameStop and Dumb Money and Roaring Kitty, where finally the little people came together and said, hey, we're going to buy GameStop, and we just really believe in this stock and we want it to go up higher. And then big Wall Street, big banks, all the big hedge funds basically used the current laws to destroy them. And that's one thing, you know, when we were talking about companies wanting to go public, they are basically giving themselves over to these entities because they can naked short them. They can bring down their stock. So I just wanted to talk for a little bit and get your insight as to why businesses and investors are going to want to tokenize RWAs. Like, why do people or businesses want to look at tokenizing these real world assets, and how does that help so many people in this space?
You're absolutely right. I think that going public has been glamorized, but a lot of people don't understand some of the risks that are associated. And I think you've given some great examples. Naked shorting is actually a huge problem in the world of going public. And that really, for those of you that don't know, is the illegal practice of short selling a financial asset, things like stocks without first borrowing or ensuring the availability. And it happens all the time. And we've seen companies that have lost their companies just because of shifts in groups like Reddit groups, for example, right? I mean, it's crazy some of the risks that are associated with that. But I think that the reason why there's this huge movement into tokenization, it comes down to liquidity. It reduces the barrier of entry is so much easier on this side of the equation, and it gives people a global market. And let me give you an example. So we're tokenizing some luxury hotels down in Tulum right now, and the buyer paid cash for these particular properties. Now, it's really difficult for that buyer to get a loan on properties in Mexico. If somebody is willing to loan on those properties, he's going to pay very, very high interest. So in this situation, he can tokenize about 25 or 50% of whatever he wants to give up of his property. What we do is we actually come in and we don't tokenize the actual business itself. We tokenize the cash flow because we don't want to get involved in their profit and loss and whether or not the business is doing well. And so essentially what we'll do is we'll tokenize the cash flow and we'll put that into a special purpose vehicle. Now, once we tokenize, it's fractionalized ownership. So now somebody sitting over in India has the ability, if they want to participate in that real world asset, they could buy $100 worth of tokens or $200 or $300. Somebody else, Ricardo, you could buy $100,000 worth of token. And so now what it does is it creates inclusivity and it gives that business access to global capital raise. And that is a great situation to give them a pathway to that liquidity that they might want. So now that owner can tokenize. He still maintains control of his business. We have the collateral that we want. We have the because typically we'll go in and we'll collateralize the assets, whether it's the business, the real estate, or sometimes it might be equipment to back up in case they fail to deliver on their dividends that they're paying out to their investors. But at the end of the day, they get the cash flow that they need to now go and buy some additional properties. You think about commercial developments. Sometimes, commercial developments might take 5 years to build out. And so somebody might be stuck in that investment until the actual property sells if they were an initial investor. Well, the tokenization allows someone to be able to liquidate and to be able to raise additional funds if needed. And so there's so many different benefits, but at the end of the day, I think that it comes down to the barrier of entry is so much easier. The pathway forward is so much more efficient from a cost effective, just from the ability to maintain control of your company effective. And for those reasons, that's why we're seeing that growth in the world of tokenization.
That's huge. And M.I.M.S, you had talked about this when you were in California, is the decentralization of wealth. So Travis kind of gave us why a business would want to tokenize, but maybe make it make sense to people out there, the average ordinary person who has been gate-kept from getting into good projects, good investments because they weren't accredited investors. They didn't have $1 million, so they can become a millionaire. Make it make sense as to how huge this RWA revolution is going to be as we decentralize this wealth to the average ordinary people.
Yeah, I mean, this is what's so powerful about the blockchain. And this is why it's important that, people, understand the difference between hype, hope, and speculation and real blockchain projects and real technology. That's what gets me excited when I look at this space. Unfortunately, a lot of people hear crypto and they associate that with something negative that they've experienced or they know somebody else has experienced. They have these preconceived notions, but it's because they haven't been educated. And understanding the blockchain is really what you need to understand. And you need to look at these companies that are facilitating the actual transfer of use and value in the real world into the blockchain and how you can capitalize on that. And so the transparency, the security, the trust that the blockchain affords. And now, like you talked about, the decentralization and people being able to get access to that, regardless of, who you are, where you are, how much you have, your status, none of that matters now. We're in a totally different world. You need to really wake up to the new world that we're in today and realize how the world has changed and, see where we're going. Because once you do that, once you get educated, once you really take advantage of the opportunity and see, the opportunities that are before you, you'll realize that, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations are reachable because of this technology, because of the time that we're in, because of the clarity that we're now seeing in these markets. And when we're looking at, T7X, and we're looking at this American-made blockchain, that is filing Reg A, Reg D with the SEC, that is doing the process right in this industry that we need to see. It's a very exciting, it's a very opportune time to be early, to this space. Unfortunately, a lot of people like to get in things after it's already blown up, after a lot of people talking about it. They're chasing green candles. The time to get into opportunities like this is when it's early, when not too many people know about it, when the price is low. Those are the people who see the real value early on, and that's what we want to make sure that you guys see as well.
And great question from Elizabeth. Which tokens are you speaking about? Is this a specific crypto? So let's go into a little bit more detail on that. Obviously, we are speaking in general about RWA, or real world assets. In my opinion, in crypto right now, there's two huge narratives, right? The AI space and the RWA space. Now, AI is very complicated, very speculative. RWA is basically just merging traditional finance with this new, blockchain revolution that we've been going through. So, Travis, I think when I went out to California and I found out what TSC and T7X were doing, I just loved the connections they had, the network they had, and how they were doing everything the right way. The compliance, the audits. So could you maybe just speak to that, about the regulatory clarity that they are seeking when it comes to bringing these real world assets onto the blockchain?
Yeah. So, I think that if we look at the world of tokenization, you have to understand that there are challenges in this space, just like any new industry that's coming to fruition. And, he who solves those problems, right? If you can figure out where people are going and get there faster and provide solutions to some of the greatest challenges, those are the companies that go on to create legacies and create fortunes and opportunities for others to be a part of as well. And so we looked at the problems in this space, and a few of them that just come to mind. One at the top of my head is valuation. Valuations in the world of real world assets is a big problem right now. Mike, let's say that you wanted to tokenize your home, and your home was worth $1 million, and we first thing we would do is have an independent audit or an appraisal on that property so that we could substantiate value. And then let's say that you wanted to tokenize 50% of it. That's all tokenization is, by the way. It's just using blockchain technology to break down physical or digital assets into smaller tradable units, right? Fractionalized ownership, making ownership more accessible to the average everyday individual. So you decide to tokenize 50% of your home, and you distribute 500,000 tokens. Well, naturally, those tokens would be worth $1, right? Because we have a substantiated value. In the world of tokenization, at least over the last few years, because there's been no framework, it's allowed companies. Michael could say, well, to me, my home's actually worth $10 million because I've got a lot of really good memories here.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so
Sentimental.
Yeah. It's
Sentimental's worth a couple mil. Come on.
Or, hey, you know what? In 10 years, I think this will be worth $10 million. And here's why: the value of the land is growing. And so he could, in his mind, say, I could see where, let's start with a $10 million value. And so now when he distributes those same tokens, you have a totally different unit value. But that value is not based on anything other than hype and speculation. And so, unfortunately, valuations are a big problem, misrepresentations, where people use the term backed by very loosely. We're backed by this $1 billion asset, but really all they did is they go secure a lease or create a strategic partnership where they give a little bit of an override, but they're really not on their asset statements. And so if something were to happen, they make you feel like that these type of real world assets are collateralized, that this is safe and secure, when the truth is they're not showing up on their asset statements. They have no claim to those particular assets other than an affiliation. And so what we decided to do is we decided to create a process, a framework for real world assets to be able to go through. There's been a big argument over the last few years whether or not real world assets are securities or they're not securities. And at the end of the day, we've decided to require every single real world asset to file a Reg A and a Reg D, which actually means they're filing as a registered investment with the Securities Exchange Commission. If it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And my business partner was at Mar-a-Lago just a couple of weeks ago. We had a chance to meet with the crypto czar there. And as they announced today, a framework is now coming, right? They just created this task force. Guess what? We already know what that framework is. And so we are the first smart chain in the world that is requiring the registration of Reg A, Reg D for investors or for real world assets. And here's what that does. It requires an independent audit right up front to establish true value. The second thing that it does is it requires an independent audit every single year. The third thing, I mean, we make it sound easy, but the Reg A and Reg D, you got a 100-page document that has to be filed that discloses everything, all of your actual assets, your P&Ls, the success of the company. We're only working with actual existing businesses that are cash flowing, that have tangible assets, so that there's some level of collateralization that allows us to be able to protect those that choose to participate in those real world assets. So Trusted Smart Chain is raising the bar and bringing a level of trust and transparency through this framework to the industry. And what it does is it provides a safe passage forward for businesses, gives them clarity, gives them an actual proven process. And on the other side, those that are participating have the true transparency that they need. And I do want to also say, this isn't new. The company, my partners and I, one of my business partners he and his team have taken over 100 companies public. And in that process, they've created really a name for themselves. They've rung the bell on the stock exchange. And when he looked at the world of tokenization, he said, you know what? If we take what we've been doing over here and we apply it to the world of tokenization, we take the exact same team, the asset managers, the infrastructure that we have, and we apply it on the world of tokenization, that will solve almost all of the problems in this space. And so although we are a new blockchain, we're not essentially a new company. And you guys had a chance firsthand to be able to see the level of depth that we have in our C-suite team, even our board of directors, and all the way through the asset managers that are managing each one of our assets.
Man, I wish I had my Don DeMarco. That was fire, man. So much knowledge. M.I.M.S, make it make sense here of everything that we saw in California. The trust and transparency that I'm seeing here is what I love, because obviously anything I put my money in or put my name behind, I want to make sure we're crossing the T's and dotting the I's. But what did you get from that to summarize it for the people out there?
Look, somebody's got to do it first. Okay, somebody's got to do it, and you want to find that company, that somebody that's doing it. You want to find a company that's somebody that's doing it right. And we found a company and somebody's that's doing it right. Okay. And we went to California to confirm that. We was like, okay, we're hearing this, we're seeing this, let's go out here and really confirm. And all the answers and questions that we had, all the questions that we had were answered. And no, I mean, folks, truth, transparency, this is the time, this is the time. I mean, that was fire. You can't make it make sense any more better than that, at this point in the stage. At this point, it's like, how do I take advantage? How do I put myself in position? Because like you said, this whole framework is something that is already existing in the traditional finance world. They're already doing this in traditional finance. We're already, they've already taken companies public. They already know the process. They already know the ins and outs. Now we're just moving into the blockchain where there's trust and transparency. Where there's that type of security. No more this naked short selling assets you don't have, all this hypothecation of assets and all this rigging and manipulation. That stops with the blockchain. Yep. And so now who is the first, what company, what blockchain, what company is going to do that first to make that transition, that shift, and do it right and do it properly, under that clarity and that guidance. And that's what's happening here with T7X and what the opportunity that we have to be a part of that is just huge. This is what we've been looking for. We know it's coming. We know somebody's going to do it. Who is it? What company? I believe we found it.
No, it's absolute fire. And just so you guys know, one of my big questions was, how is this going to work when it comes to the blockchain? So Trusted Smart Chain is our own layer 1 blockchain that I love that it's built on the Cosmos or Atom ecosystem. So I think it's one of the best ones out there. So this is going to allow us to have gas fees, have basically control of what we want. But Atom or Cosmos being a layer 0 kind of gives us that structure and framework. We have 12 RWAs currently in process, and we're hoping to get, I believe, 100 here, in the next few years. And this isn't like one store, right? It's not like a bakery with a ma and a pa in there. We're looking at an average RWA valuation of around $50 million. And Travis, anything you want to add here, especially when it comes to the trusted society? Because again, guys, this might be your first time hearing this. There is only 200,000 nodes. So to me, this is really a community that we're providing value and building up long-term to help as many people as possible.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, first of all, for those that might be novices, what a node is and what a node operator does on the trusted smart chain. So first of all, what a node does is validate and confirm transactions. It maintains security. It supports smart contracts, so these real world assets, may have smart contracts that are governing their token, their tokenization and tokenomics, excuse me, been a long day. It helps to ensure the integrity of a blockchain. And so when you buy a node, you're buying software and you're downloading that software. You then have to go host it, totally decentralized. And when it's activated, it connects to the network. And if you think about what a blockchain is, it's just a network of computers, right? You've removed the decentralized, centralized banking infrastructure that used to validate transactions, and it's now happening through the blockchain. That's the entire innovation of blockchain, right? So when you buy a node, you're essentially becoming a node operator on the trusted smart chain. And for helping to validate these transactions and create the block, which is the ledger, right? You earn daily digital rewards. Those tokens come to you and you can download them from that, or excuse me, you can withdraw those tokens and you can essentially cash them in daily if you want to. You can swap them for other tokens, or you can hold on to them for potential upside growth. I would have loved to have been, one of the beginning miners on Bitcoin when it first launched in 2009 and 2010, and people were getting hundreds, potentially thousands of Bitcoin every single day. They weren't worth 109,000 like they were yesterday at its peak. But the idea is that you are accumulating these tokens that have potential as the ecosystem continues to grow. Now, there's a saying that I'm fond of, at least I believe, and a mentor taught me this: the success of a project comes down to the utility and the problems that you solve. We've already talked about the problems that we are solving in this space, but I would love for our viewers to get a better understanding of the utility. I want people to understand what's the purpose of this token. And so I think that it's important to really understand the flow of our ecosystem. So first of all, if you look at this picture, in the behind scene, you see the Trusted Smart Chain logo, which is awesome, by the way, boys. Let me see those gold tokens. You got those gold tokens here, buy it all. Got it. You got one of these.
I got it.
You're very special if you have one of these.
That's
right?
right.
So there's certain ways that you can earn those within our community, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But you look at that logo. That's the underlying blockchain that makes all this possible. We are a layer 1 blockchain. All of the real world assets are considered layer 2 projects. So when they tokenize, they're just using our blockchain. Now, we also have a strategic partnership, an affiliation where we're two totally separate companies with an exchange. That exchange is called T7X. What does that stand for? Trust in 7 different continents, a licensed exchange in 7 different continents. So T7X has chosen Trusted Smart Chain as their blockchain to be able to take all of these real world assets and do what they do. So we are the foundation for them. So if you look at this chart here, you see the underlying foundation, which is Trusted Smart Chain. Right at the top there, you have T7X. Now, T7X is who is working with the real world assets. Each real world asset gets an asset manager that takes them through the Reg A and Reg D process. That's part of the services that they provide, is they handhold and they take them through that process. Now, once that's done, each real world asset has to put up $3 million in media. We have a media partner that actually will go out and advertise that investment. They can do that legally because why? Because they're a registered investment.
Yep.
So they'll go out and they'll advertise $3 million through all kinds of different media channels. And out the other side comes 3,000 to 5,000 accredited and non-accredited investors that want to participate in that project. Okay. Now, here's the beautiful thing. All of this is happening over at T7X. We're just the foundation that's making it possible. But here's the beautiful thing. Every one of those investors, as you can see with the arrows, that are investing in that real world asset, they have to go to the open market and buy trusted smart chain token to invest. There's no other way for them to invest in that real world asset than buying it with T7 or trusted smart chain token, TSC token. So that's utility number one. Okay. Now, those real world assets, we have a licensing agreement with them. They pay dividends. Why are these investors investing? Because they pay dividends on average of about 10%. That's the average dividend that our real world assets pay in the form of dividends. Not guaranteed. That's the average. So they have to pay their investors with trusted smart chain token. So let me give you an example. So our average right now, we have 12 real world assets in process. The average valuation of these RWAs is $50 million. On average, each RWA pays approximately $5 million in dividends per year to their investors. So guess what? Every single real world asset has to go to the open market and buy trusted smart chain to pay those investors. There's two. Now, you guys tell me. I mean, I don't know, but if you got 100 companies, which is our goal in 3 years, that are paying on average $5 million in dividends, that's $500 million of liquidity that's coming into a token. Add another, let's just say, 250 million to be conservative from investor liquidity that's coming in to invest in those real world assets, maybe more. I don't know, guys. What happens when you have that kind of a demand on the token potentially?
Man, that is massive utility.
Yeah.
M.I.M.S, yeah. I'll let you hit that. That out of the
park.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's a no-brainer at this point. You know, I mean, it really is a no-brainer. TSC is a coin that's needed on the way in to take a part of some of these real world assets on the exchange, and it's the way out as well. You know, that the investors that are invested in the real world assets, they get paid out in. So that utility is huge. And then for us to be able to obviously acquire and you know get rewarded in TSC every single day is a no-brainer. You know, it's a no-brainer. Like I said, this is a system that is already functioning in the real world. We're just bringing it to the blockchain, democratizing it, decentralizing the wealth and opportunity where everybody can take advantage. It's just you understanding the value of what's before you. It's you grasping the magnitude of the opportunity that's being presented to you and then taking advantage, you know, with all the clarity, with all the security, with all the trust. So no, that was I mean, it's brilliant too. You know, it's brilliant because, like Travis said, it's off of the cash flow, you know, of the business, right? And then the processes are in place to where if there's some interruption, and maybe you could talk about that, Travis, where you know, I call it like a clawback, with a company kind of, you know, we'll take ownership of those assets to a degree, if I'm saying that correctly. Just these assurances and these systems that are in place, you know, to substantiate the long-term growth and value of this project in this you know, T7X, this exchange and ecosystem, and it's exciting.
Well, I think it's important that people understand that we're not selling nodes for the real world assets. You don't need to go buy a node for the Grow estate, for the Tulum luxury hotel properties, or we're not selling nodes for each one of these real world assets. Okay. If we were, then you put yourself into a securities risk for selling an unregistered security. We have nothing to do with that. That's all happening over at T7X. T7X is working with these real world assets. First, they're qualifying them. Then they're working with them to go through the Reg A, Reg D process and get them filed, right? They're utilizing trusted smart chain as their blockchain to essentially tokenize. So it's very important that everybody understands that. So if you go back to that second picture that we just had up for a moment again, and that graph that it shows the flow, you'll notice that you see the RWA, T7X, then the RWAs, then the investors. That's all happening up at T7X. But if you follow that chart down and you start to see the TSC and then ultimately the node owners. So we are selling 200,000 nodes. We're activating 200,000 nodes this year. Somebody has an opportunity to be able to buy a node. And what they're doing is they're helping to facilitate all of these transactions that are happening within each one of these RWA projects. So if you can understand that, you are part of the overall foundation for everything that happens on the blockchain. You're not just getting involved with this one project and this one project. You are buying a node that facilitates everything. And if you can get your mind around that,
awesome.
That creates a different level of opportunity that really hasn't existed, especially when we are providing this framework for these RWAs. Now, here's another cool part about this. Every node owner in our ecosystem, you mentioned it earlier, gets access, right? That's what it's all about. So they become a founding member within the trusted society. So now, as a founding member, guess what you get access to? You get access to these RWA projects that if every one of them has been vetted, you can go in and vet it yourself because everything is on full display because they filed that Reg A document. And if you want, you can choose to participate in those projects. These are projects that you would have never been exposed to previously. Michael, you said it perfectly earlier. Mike said, most people have to have $1 million of liquidity, be an accredited investor to even be invited to participate. What tokenization does is it opens up the possibility for, Elizabeth, you or Nicole, you to be able to own a fraction of the Empire State Building or a Picasso piece of art or luxury hotels that are in Tulum. You can now own a share of that. That did not exist before the world of tokenization. Yep. Trusted Smart Chain is just providing the foundation. So when you operate a node on our chain, you're facilitating all of that. And that is what brings the value to the table.
Wow. Man. All right. I gotta go and buy some more nodes, M.I.M.S.
Where's your horn? I need a horn here.
yeah. Mike's got to get the soundboard because yeah, no, this is the value that we bring to the space, man, is huge. It's just done right. Everything was thought of is just powerful. And to own a node, like Travis said, and get that reward and this interconnected system, it's really bigger than most people realize. Like it's really hard to really like quantify just how huge this is when you really talk about these other projects and the investors getting paid in TSC and them holding on to that TSC possibly because they want to get the exposure from the returns from the other projects that are on the exchange. It just creates this I can see this massive cash cow, this big ecosystem where these assets are on these exchange and everybody can see all the documents and paperwork on them, and they understand that they're holding, and receiving this TSC coin, and they're leveraging and benefiting from the framework and the companies that are on this exchange. And obviously, like we talk about getting them access to projects that they never heard about before, and being able to capitalize on what accredited investors were already investing in that was getting them around 10% a year. Okay, now you being able to have access and exposure to that because of the blockchain and because of this ecosystem that's being put in place, but even more powerful to actually own software to own a node. So not only the node itself is the asset, okay, but the asset is producing an asset, okay, which is that TSC. And that TSC, the utility, like Travis just eloquently broke down, and the value and the clarity and the trust, it's what we've been looking for. 2025 it begins, okay? And this right here is probably going to be one of the biggest RWA, tokenized security exchange opportunity node platforms that's out there. At this stage in the game, it's huge.
Yeah, and we gotta hear a little inside spice, inside juice when we saw Travis in California. But Travis, some people might not fully grasp how the demand of RWAs right now coming forward. So maybe whatever you can, give us a little glimpse of how many companies, what type of companies T7X might look at bringing from the real world onto the blockchain?
So first of all, we are the first blockchain in the world, just to be clear, that is requiring this process of Reg A, Reg D. There is no other layer one blockchain that is requiring their RWAs to register as an actual security investment.
Huge. That's huge.
Doesn't mean we'll be the last. We are the first.
Right.
And that is our niche, is trust and transparency through the process that we take them through. Doesn't mean we'll be the only. Now, for us to be successful, with 100 assets over the next 3 years, guys, I just shared with you what the liquidity looks like coming into our token. Could we do more than that? Absolutely. Is there a demand for it? Look, you guys, what quadrillion, quadrillion, whatever the number was that we were talking about earlier, the numbers are staggering, the growth in this space. We need 100 to essentially make this entire ecosystem pretty happy. Right. So the demand right now, first of all, you have to understand what our partners have been doing for the last 15, 20 years. They've established themselves as a trusted authority when it comes to taking companies public. And so they already have the attention of companies that are looking for liquidity. So that's number one. Number two, the different connections and relationships that we've built, myself personally, some of the other business partners that we have in the cryptocurrency space have led us. I've been on the phone with no less than probably 24 real world asset projects that are looking to tokenize in the last 3 months. Companies are coming forward through the relationships that we have that are looking to tokenize. I have a meeting tomorrow, 2 meetings tomorrow. I can't tell you who they are. One is an A-list celebrity that, if I said his name, there isn't one person here that wouldn't know his name. And he is launching a media company, and we are meeting with him tomorrow because he's looking to raise capital for his media company. He could fund it, but why do that personally when you can go raise capital? Right. He actually looked at venture capital. The venture capital, you have to give up so much control of your company. So that's one example. We have a second meeting tomorrow that is in the realm of, let's just say if I mentioned his name, every UFC fan here would immediately go, "You got to be kidding me." And we will be chatting with him tomorrow because he's looking nice. Now, I don't have signed contracts with him. These are the type of conversations that we're having. Now, projects that we do already have in the works. We've got a chain of luxury hotels in Tulum. Tulum, if you don't know, is absolutely exploding right now. We have a very, very well-known, one of the top resorts in the United States, the brand, and this particular property, the properties up in Utah, up in Park City, that we are in the process of tokenizing, and we will soon be holding events at. We have we've got a chain of different industrial grade or medical grade hemp companies that we are tokenizing, and actually we'll be visiting them next month in Oklahoma, one of those facilities. So you can come out and experience it, touch it, taste it, feel it, whatever. I don't know, whatever. Hey, you want to get some relief? It's all on you. So Trusted Smart Chain is the name of the blockchain. TrustedSmartChain.com. You can go there and read our white papers. So anyways, these are just some of the products. We've got some pharmaceutical companies that we're currently working with that you'll be hearing about. Oil and gas. We have an oil and gas company that we're tokenizing. In fact, the asset manager is a billionaire. He spoke at our event. You guys got to hear from him in Irvine at our open house. So these are just a few of the projects that are already in the works. Guys, we don't need the 16 whatever trillion dollar, whatever it's going to be, the market's going to be worth. We don't need 100% of it. That's what the people have to understand. We just need to carve out a tiny little sliver. And that demand on our token, again, the greatest benefactor of demand is value. There's a reason why Bitcoin is $109,000 or hit $109,000 yesterday. Why? Because there's only 21 million tokens that'll ever be created. There's a finite supply. And as the demand grows, it creates scarcity. That scarcity ultimately translates to value. So it comes back to utility. What is the demand for the project? And we've created a utility within this ecosystem that's unlike anything that I've seen before. And it's all built and predicated upon the value that we're bringing to the world of real world assets, both on the business side and on the participant side.
Yeah, the utility and transparency is like nothing I've ever seen in this space ever. And if for those of you wondering, we do have this is the trusted smart chain we're talking about. It's a new blockchain that's ready to launch. And we're looking for people to grow this community and people that want to be founding members and help run a node. We have a way to automate that so you don't have to have any technical know-how. You don't even need to have a computer. We have a way that you can host it for just like $3 a month. But you know, what is crazy about this too is we have the same tokenomics as Bitcoin because we figured why create something new? Copy the best, the number one. So it's only 21 million tokens. Just like Bitcoin, they're going to be fairly mined. There's no ICO. There's no pre-mining. There's not some foundation that has a bunch of tokens that can do whatever they want to do with them. So M.I.M.S, as we kind of wrap this up here, I definitely want to touch on and not leave you guys in, total limbo here about what's going on when you want to buy these nodes. Because again, we're bringing this to you guys now because it's not going to be this price for much longer. So M.I.M.S, I'll let you kind of talk about becoming a founding member and taking action here before the end of the month.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about, being early, being first, the benefit of taking advantage now. And when it comes to nodes, you want to get your node ASAP because as soon as that node is running, that's when you're going to receive the most tokens, right? That's when you're going to receive the most coins. And so right now with the founding members, the nodes are $1,500 right now, folks. That's a huge deal. Obviously, you can see with the friends and family, and I think that's until the end of the month or something like that, I believe is correct, Travis. Yeah, so the node software, like Mike talked about, it's not a physical device, it's software. We have the ability to acquire this software and get rewarded every single day in the TSC token. Okay. So that's huge. Obviously we just broke down. We made it make sense as far as I'm concerned, the value, of the exchange and of the ability to, receive and get rewarded in that TSC coin as well. So, this is really something that I think that a lot of people are going to be very happy with, once they start getting their nodes and they start seeing the success and the growth of what's going to take place with T7X and this exchange. And obviously, we're going to have more news and exciting opportunities and things coming. Obviously, we talk about Tulum and then we talk about Oklahoma and we talk about these real world assets and visiting these real world assets and, other companies and, that are coming on the exchange. So, this is the time. Take advantage, put yourself in position, and run your node, get your node and start receiving some TSC tokens.
No, definitely. And let me answer a few questions here and then we'll get last words from Travis. Betsy asked, will there be a halving like Bitcoin? Yes, there will be. That is in the code of the blockchain that there will be a halving just like Bitcoin. The one big difference, which I love, is there's a staking reward. So you're actually incentivized to stake and earn yield because some of the tokens that are mined will go towards people who are staking. Another great question, Courtney, it will not be a proof of work like Bitcoin. It's a proof of stake on the Cosmos ecosystem, blockchain, layer 0. So you won't have to obviously, buy some huge, massive computer and spend a bunch of energy. We've partnered with a node hosting program that is decentralized where you can host these nodes for about $3 a month. I don't believe we can pay with a credit card right now. Can we, Travis? I think it has to be crypto.
Yeah, crypto, MoneyWire. We are working on getting PayPal up, which would allow a purchase through credit cards. Right now, if you guys aren't aware, there's a huge battle that's going on between banks and crypto. Banks do not want to let go of your money. They are losing to crypto, right? Because every time a dollar leaves and gets converted over into the crypto side, that's one less dollar that they can use to go and invest because that's where they make their money. So there's a lot of banks that are not merchanting now. You should know that we are in the process of actually buying a bank right now. So that is something that we are working on over on the T7X side. And, we should have, hopefully, we're hoping to see that finalized by mid this year. And once we bring that into the ecosystem, that'll create a lot of solutions in simplicity, because we all know that there's still some challenges when it comes to liquidating or getting in and out of cryptocurrency. And so that's a big part of it. One thing that I do want to say, and it's important because compliance is extremely important to us, is this is not a security. This is software, and there is no guarantees, right? There's no interference of potential gains from operating or owning or participating in trusted smart chain. We can't tell you that these tokens are going to be worth $1 gazillion down the road. It's up to you to evaluate this particular project and ask yourself some questions. Do I see true utility here? Do I understand that, if there is a utility, that creates demand? And one of the benefactors typically is the byproduct of demand is value. You have to evaluate the opportunity yourself and ultimately make that decision. Node software operators operate independently. There are no royalties, there's no revenues, there is nothing that is directly impacting the overall value of the token other than you, the ecosystem, the community. You are in total control, right? Even the nodes themselves, you download it, you go get it hosted. That's totally decentralized. So I want to throw that out there first and foremost. Second of all, I do want people to understand that you're not just buying a node, you're becoming a member of, and I'm going to speak as if it's already existing because we're creating it and it's already becoming. And so I always say speak as if, right? We all believe that. We are building one of the most valuable ecosystems in the cryptocurrency space. Everybody wants to be a part of something bigger than themselves. I think that we all have arrived at the same place where we're tired of the wealthy getting wealthier. Cryptocurrency and blockchain is and has always been about the people. And Trusted Smart Chain aligns with that people-centric business model. And so we are bringing these real-world asset opportunities to the people. We are giving you the opportunity to be a node operator on a layer 1 blockchain that's facilitating all of this happening. So when you buy a node, you join the Trusted Society, and that gives you instant access to this entire ecosystem. Online events, we held one earlier tonight where we were giving nodes away and tremendous value on that particular Zoom. Owners events we're doing twice a year. We have our first owners event in March in Tulum at the hotels that we're tokenizing. So as a node operator, you get an exclusive invite to that. You get access to these RWA projects that have been vetted that you'll be introduced to, and you can choose to participate in them or not participate. You'll go directly to the asset managers and work with them on that side of things. So you're going to be joining a community, newsletters, all kinds of fantastic things that are happening behind the scenes within our community. So we've got different ways that you can get started right now, friends and family. You're going to save a ton of money between now and the first. Our nodes that are normally, when we first kick off our pre-launch, which is on 2/1, they will be priced at $2,500. Every 1,000 nodes that sell, the price will go up $100. So that will cap out at $10,000 per node. Once the nodes sell out, they will be converted to an NFT, and that NFT it's willable, sellable, transferable. You can go and sell it on OpenSea. The value will be determined based on, again, the demand for the actual nodes themselves. And so we have different statuses within our ecosystem. So a founding member is $2,500. And that gives you access to the things that we've discussed, including the daily digital rewards that you will be earning. But once we also have a prestige status, which is our 5-pack. It's probably our most common pack. The prestige pack it comes with a little bit more recognition, a little bit more access. You get, you're able to participate in DAO committees that will be formed. This entire ecosystem will be turned over to the DAO and the people, which will be run essentially 100% by vote. So you now have that opportunity, and this is a phenomenal deal. You're saving $7,500 each. Node that you operate gives you the equal distribution of the token rewards. So we've got a lot of prestige statuses that are coming in at our events. They get recognized, they get additional access. The next level kicks off our elite status, which is the Luminary Circle. It's 20 nodes, normally $50,000. Right now it's priced at $30,000. So saving $20,000. We had several luminaries that were on the call tonight. You get 2 free nodes here. You get 10% off all future node purchases. You get early access to the RWAs. What you have to understand is Reg A and Reg D, it appeals to accredited, but there's only a certain amount of non-accredited investors that can participate for the securities exchange laws. And so We believe that a lot of these projects that we're introducing, because of the dividends and because they're already proven and because they've got a track record and they're already successful businesses, they'll sell out. And so our luminaries will have early access to those RWAs. And they'll also get invited to very special events. Like, for example, in Oklahoma, we've got a luminary and above dinner happening in Oklahoma. We've got a luminary and above dinner that's happening in Tulum, rooftop dinner, a lot of fun stuff. And then our last one is the elite level. It's the top level. It's Titan Circle. Then the Titan Circle is 50 nodes, normally 125,000. Right now it's 75,000. This is kind of the look, our Titans are coming out a day or two before the events. We're going out on yachts and we're masterminding. We've got a lot of inner circle different activities that are helping to guide the ecosystem. It's kind of like Tony Robbins' Inner Circle, right? Where you're behind stage with Tony Robbins and you're going to dinner and you direct access to the founders. And so this is our ecosystem, and it's all based on access. A founding member opens the door. You have access to a world of value and education. And as you continue to climb the ranks within our ecosystem, you gain additional access. So we're excited. We are getting ready to Genesis our blockchain. So that'll be happening on or around February 1st. So the first block will be created. The token rewards will start at that time. We're launching our affiliate program. As of right now, we have a 1-tier referral program. On 2/1, our back office and our full affiliate suites will be available, which will then kick off our 2-level affiliate program that'll be available. And we plan on listing the token on an exchange within 60 to 90 days of the genesis of our blockchain. So hopefully that answers everybody's question. How long does the node last? The node lasts as long as the 21 million tokens are being distributed. And by the way, there was that question about the halving event. We modeled to the T Bitcoin's tokenomics.
Yep.
Why? Because they're very well known, they're proven, and we understand that this institutional money that's now coming in is looking for something that they can recognize. And we wanted to be consistent with that. So you can read all of our white papers over at trustedsmartchain.com.
Man, fire. Travis, you are putting in the work, man. Bringing the heat, bringing the fire. Give him the money clap. Give him the money clap.
Mike don't got his soundboard, okay, but we definitely going to do a sound money clap, okay, for Travis tonight and this information that he just blessed everybody with. I hope you guys really see the value in, T7X and this opportunity dealing with nodes. And I hope you see where the future is going. I hope you have a little bit of vision. I hope you have some foresight. I hope you put yourself in position to win. That's what we're doing. And we're going to continue to win like we have been. And we want you to win with us. So, man, it's a phenomenal time to be alive and be a part of opportunities like this. And we're going to have a lot of fun in Tulum. I'll tell you that much.
Ooh,
so put yourself in position. Okay, lace up. Let's get wealthy.
You guys, thank you so much for jumping on tonight. Like the video, comment, share it out. Whoever shared this with you, get back to them on how to purchase a node. And we'll see you guys next week on the Runners Live. Thank you so much again, Travis, for being the man and coming on. We appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Everyone have a fabulous week. Lace up. Let's get wealthy.
Peace.